Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityalla Pravishram Vishnupar Ashtarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nityalla Pravishram Vishnupar Ashtarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishram Vishnupar Ashtarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalla Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityalla Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki jai. Nityalla Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugogoriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Nama Jai Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gora Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanitti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminitti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gauratvishe namaha. Gurave gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yang pravrajantamanupetamapeta dvaipayano virahakatara ajuhava putreti tanmayataya taravobhinedustang sarvabhuta hridayang munimanatosmi Narayanam namaskritya narang chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Shrinvatang Swakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Hridantasto Yabhadrani Vidhunuti Suhritsatam Nashta Prayeshvabhadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tavai vasmi, na jivami tvaya vina, iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparadha lakshay, kshiptashtakama ditaranga madhe. Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna. Vrinde namaste charana ravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, everybody. Madhavi Didi, Ganga Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Indira Mataji, Bhavatarani Mataji, and Sri Hari Prabhu. Hari Bol, everybody. So now we begin chapter 46. Yesterday we heard a summary of, we heard my Gurudev's description of chapter 46, of 46 and 47. And now we'll read directly from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So I forgot to open it. Okay. 1 second. 46. Uddhava visits Vṛndāvana. Shri Shuka Uvacha Vrishinam Pravaro Mantri Krishnasya Daita Sakha Shishyo Brihaspate Shakshar Uddhavo Bodhisattama. Shukadev Goswami said, "The supremely intelligent Uddhava was the best counselor of the Vrishni dynasty, a beloved friend of Lord Shri Krishna, and a direct disciple of Brihaspati." Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. In this chapter, Uddhava visits Vraj and he observes that which caused great joy for Krishna and Balaram, and also the unhappiness felt by the Vrajvasis in separation from them. Remembering the sorrow of the Vrajvasis who were afflicted with separation from him, Krishna himself became full of anxiety and reflected, "Who is there in this city of Mathura qualified to deliver my message, which will relieve their suffering and make known to the world the supreme position of the Vrajvasis' prem? Who is there who has performed thousands of austerities in order to delight in the sweet Vrajvasis' prem?" The present verse singles out Uddhava, who had by chance just appeared before Krishna to render some service, and designates him as the right person to do the needful. Vrishninam Pravaro means that Uddhava was respected by all the members of the Vrishni clan for his exemplary words and deeds. Thus, when Uddhava returns from Vṛndāvana after experiencing the Vrajvasis' prem and tells the Vrishnis how the prem of Nanda and Yashoda and the Gopas and Gopis is thousands of times greater, even than their own love for Krishna, they would believe it, even though they had been thinking that they had the greatest fortune and love for the Lord, since he was their own relative, and that the prem of Vasudeva and Devaki was the highest, since they have the Lord as their son. So he was the most qualified person. All the Vrishnis respected him. They would take it from him. His words is true. The word mantri indicates that Uddhava was an expert counselor, and therefore would be skillful at counseling the feelings of the Vrajvasis. Uddhava was a beloved of Krishna. Therefore, he was qualified to drink the nectar of the Vrajvasis' pure love of God. The word Sakha, friend, implies that Uddhava is fluent in discussing conjugal love, just like Subal Sakha in Vrajbhumi. What was in Uddhava's heart would manifest in his words even more than with Krishna. Thus it is stated in the Bhagavatam 3.4.31, No dhavon vapi man no. Uddhava is not even slightly different from me. Resembling Krishna so much, Uddhava was the perfect person to execute the role of Krishna's messenger in Vṛndāvana. That Uddhava is a direct disciple of Brihaspati indicates that when Brihaspati saw the sharpness of Uddhava's intellect, he personally taught him all the Shastras. However, the suggestion here is that Uddhava lacked knowledge of one particular Shastra, which was inaccessible even to Brihaspati, namely, the topmost knowledge of the science of Prem, which controls Sri Krishna himself. But because Uddhava is so dear to Krishna, certainly the Vraj Gopis would instruct him in this Shastra. The word Buddhi Sattama means that Uddhava is so extremely intelligent that he could understand that knowledge of Prem, which Sri Krishna spoke to his chief queens in Dwarka in the privacy of their personal quarters. The Bhagavatam 10.83.43 describes how the queens of Dwarka appreciated the depth of the gopis' love. Vrajastriyo yad vanchanti pulindastrinaviruddha gavascharayato gopa padasparshatmana. We Dwarka queens desire the same contact with Sri Krishna's feet that the young women of Vraj, the cowherd boys, and even the aborigine Pulinda women desire. The touch of the dust he leaves on the paths, the touch of the dust he leaves on the plants and grass as he tends his cows. Sri Harivansha states that Uddhava is the son of Vasudev's brother Devabhaga. Uddhavo Devabhagasya Mahabhaga Suto Bhavat. In other words, he is Krishna's cousin brother. In reference to this statement, Nanda addresses Uddhava as Mahabhaga, greatly fortunate, in verses 16 of this chapter. The word Uddhava literally means a festival of joy. The words Shakshad Uddhavo can be taken as one phrase, meaning that Uddhava was actually festivity personified. Thus, when the Vrajvasis see him, they become blissful. Dandavat Pranam Gargarajji. Tamaha Bhagavan Preshtam Bhaktam Bhaktam Ekantinam Kvachit Grihitva Panina Panim Prapanarti Haro Hari. The Supreme Lord Hari, who relieves the distress of all who surrender to him, once took the hand of his fully devoted, dearmost friend Uddhava and addressed him as follows. Commentary. Uddhava not only Krishna's devotee, but an exclusive devotee. The quality of the Ekantik Bhakta is mentioned in this verse. Vihaya Pitridevadin Parinishtangato Haro Tad Gada Primadbhi Purna Ekantiti Nigadyate. He is an Ekantik Bhakta who gives up father, mother, and other attachments, fixes his mind only on Krishna, and is filled with deep prem for the Lord. Furthermore, Uddhava is Preshtam, most dear, even among these exclusive devotees, and is the object of Krishna's special affection. On one occasion, Krishna took Uddhava's hand and spoke to him in a secluded place. This hints at Krishna's own anxiety about the residents of Vraj. Krishna takes away the distress, Artiharo, he takes away the distress of anyone who merely surrenders to him. What to speak of taking away the distress of the Vrajvasis, who possess the topmost form of Krishna Prem? Gachodhava Vrajam Somya Pitrorno Pritimavaha Gopina Madviyogadhim Matsandeshar Vimochaya. Lord Krishna said, Dear gentle Uddhava, go to Vraj and give pleasure to our parents, and also relieve the gopis suffering in separation from me by giving them my message. Commentary. Krishna said to Uddhava, make my father and mother completely happy, Pritim. By the word Vimochaya, Krishna indicates, Uddhava, the mental pain of separation from me is bound with, the mental pain of separation from me is bound within the gopis' hearts with a strong rope. You can release them from this by my messages, not by your expertise in speech. and it will be done by many messages. Sandeshai is plural. It is not one message on Gyan Yoga, analysis and detachment, nor after that by two messages containing instructions on how to attain me and then words of consolation. These messages will simply burn to ashes in the blazing fire of their prem. But the gopis will finally be freed from sorrow by hearing many confidential instructions indirectly spoken, which should be revealed to them and to no one else. Oh, that's what Gurudev was just saying, right? What we were reading yesterday. Right? Gurudev, maybe you can give some solace to Krishna's father and mother, but the gopis, it will only make, yeah, it will only burn up in there. That's exactly what we read from Gurudev. Okay. Taman manaska mat prana mat arte tyakta daihika mam eva daitam preshtam atmanam manasagata ye taktva lokadharmascha madarte tan bibarmyaham. The minds of those gopis, the minds of those gopis are always absorbed in me, and their very lives are ever devoted to me. For my sake, they have abandoned everything related to their bodies, renouncing ordinary happiness in this life, as well as religious duties necessary for such happiness in the next life. I alone am their dearmost beloved, and indeed, their very self. Therefore, I take it upon myself to sustain them in all circumstances. Commentary. Krishna said, the minds of the Vrajagopis are fixed on me alone. I am their very life. They have given up all bodily connections such as husbands, sons, mothers, fathers, eating, drinking, and sleeping. The reason for all this is stated. They have understood that I alone am dear to them, and not any other husband of their own. Not only am I dear, but I am the dearest of all. Not only am I the dearmost, but they think of me as their very selves and as the supersoul. Since I, their soul, am living here in Mathura, they believe that their souls have left their bodies, and only by my inconceivable yogamaya potency are they still living. I sustain the neophyte sadhaks who renounce this world and its mundane religiosity for my sake. So then what to speak of these gopis? Even neophyte sadhaks, yeah. Maita priyasam preshtve, Maita priyasam preshte duraste gokulastriya smarantyonga vimuhyanti viraho hotkantya vivala. My dear Uddhav, for those women of Gokul, I am the most cherished object of love. Thus, when they remember me, who am so far away, they are overwhelmed by the anxiety of separation. Commentary. But someone may object. If you are the dearmost to the gopis' minds and life heirs, and are their very self, then why haven't they come here to Mathura? How can they stay there in Vraj? This verse answers the question. Krishna said, the minds of the women in Gokul are fixed in meditation upon me in the dress of a cowherd boy, adorned with gunja berries, colored oxides, flute, and peacock feathers, and engaged in playing with them in Gokul. Why should they come to Mathura? Besides, I do not desire to bring them here. Furthermore, whatever is dear to us becomes an object of our possessiveness. Ultimately, the dearest object is the soul or ourself. Thus, things in a favorable relationship to ourself also become dear to us, and we try to possess them. Among countless millions of such dear things, I am the dearest of all. even dearer than one's own self. The Vraj gopis have realized this fact, and thus they have become stunned in separation from me due to their intense love for me. Separation from me, sorry, did I say for me? Although they would have given up their lives, they are being kept alive by my inconceivable potency. Dharayantyatikrichrena praya pranam katanchana pratyagamana sandeshar balavyo me maratmika. Simply because I have promised to return to them, my fully devoted cowherd girlfriends struggle to maintain their lives somehow or other. Commentary. Krishna said, with great difficulty, the gopis are somehow maintaining their lives because of my promise to return. It would be much easier to simply give up their lives. But then someone may question, how are the gopis maintaining their lives? Krishna answers in this verse. It was by my statement, I will quickly return, that I made while leaving Gokul, that the gopis have strong hope that I will return. It is all that is maintaining their life heirs, which are about to leave their bodies. What is their relation to you? This Krishna answers with the word balavya, meaning, even though they are women of the cowherd community, still they belong to me. Their husbands actually have no contact whatsoever with their supremely attractive qualities of form, taste, fragrance, sound, and touch. Rather, their husbands merely presume, these are our wives. In order to nourish the taste of ras, the Vraj gopis have always been, from the very beginning, in a self-sustaining conjugal relationship with me as their paramour, parakiya bhav. They are to be enjoyed by me alone because they are manifestations of my own form, Madhatmika, as incarnations of supreme bliss. They are my own internal energy, my Sarup Shakti, appearing as the essence of my pleasure potency, Ladini Shakti. Though I am Atmarama, though I am Atmarama, as satisfied in myself, I derive more pleasure from them. For this reason, I consider them more deserving of my mercy than even my own self. The suffix ka in Atmika expresses compassion. Another meaning of Atmika is, these gopis are mine because they are the objects of my enjoyment. Or the gopis' very selves are absorbed in me, in the sense of their always hankering to give pleasure to my mind. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ityukta Uddhavo Rajan Sandesham Bharturadrita Adaya Ratamaruhya Prayayo Nandagokulam. Shukadev Goswami said, thus addressed, O king, Uddhav respectfully accepted his master's message, mounted his chariot, and set off for Nanda Gokul. Prapto Nanda Vrajam Shriman Nimlochati Vibhavaso Channayana Pravishatam Pashunam Kurarenubhi. The fortunate Uddhav reached Nanda Maharaja's pastures just as the sun was setting, and since the returning cows and other animals were raising dust with their hooves, his chariot passed unnoticed. Commentary. When Uddhav entered Vraj, the sun was setting, and his chariot was covered with dust raised by the hooves of the cows. Vasitarte biyudyadbhir naditam shushmibhir virshai Dhavantibhishchavasrabhir Uddharai Uddhobharai Swavatsakan Itastato Vilangharbhir Govatsar Manditam Sitai Godoha Shabdabhiravam Venunam Nisvanena cha Gayanti Karmani Shubhani Balakrishnaya Swalankrita Bhir Gopi Bhir Gopascha Suvirajitam Agnyarkatitigo Vipra Pitridevarcharanvitai Dhupadhipaischa Malyaischa Gopavasairmanoramam Sarvata Pushpitavanam Tejali Kulanaditam Hangsakaran Hangsakarandawa Kirnai Parmas Shandaischa Manditam. Gokul resounded on all sides with the sounds of the sounds of bulls and rut fighting. Bulls and rut fighting with one another for fertile cows, with the mooing of cows burdened by their udders, chasing after their calves, with the noise of milking and of the white calves jumping here and there, with the loud reverberation of flute playing, and with the singing of the all-auspicious deeds of Krishna and Balaram by the cowherd men and women who made the village resplendent with their wonderfully ornamented attire. The cowherds' homes in Gokul appeared most charming with their abundant paraphernalia for worship of the sacrificial fire, the sun, unexpected guests, the cows, the Brahmins, the forefathers, and the demigods. On all sides lay the flowering forest, echoing with flocks of birds and swarms of bees, and beautified by its lakes crowded with swans, Karandava ducks, and bowers of lotuses. Commentary. Vraj is described in 5 verses. Inspired by the desire potency, the Icha Shakti of Krishna, who thought, "Let Uddhav see the splendor of my Vraj." Yogamaya covered the particular manifestation of Vraj, which was merged in grief, because of separation from Krishna, and undergoing the sanchari bhavs of disinterest, nirved, depression, visad, and humility, dainya. Instead, Yogamaya showed Uddhav a typical evening in Vraj in which Krishna was present, charming with the positive sentiments of joy, playfulness, eagerness, and enthusiasm. Because the cows were in heat, the bulls were mad, mooing loudly, and fighting with each other to mate with them. Vraj echoed with the sounds of cows running after their new calves. Along with the sound of milking cows, there were shouts in all directions, such as, let the cow loose. Don't let the cow loose. Bring the cows here. Do this quickly. Do this slowly. Bring this. Take this. Give this. Receive this. Vraj also appeared splendid on account of the sounds of flutes and the singing of the gopis. The performance of sacrifices and worship beautified the homes of the cowherds. Okay, so this is all a veil over Vraj to show what it is like when Krishna is there. But really, if that veil was lifted and he was seeing Vraj in that current state, then it would be quite a different scene. Tam agatam samagamya Krishnasyanucharam priyam Nanda prita parishvajya Vasudeva dhiyarchayat. As soon as Uddhav arrived at Nanda Maharaja's home, Nanda came forward to meet him. The cowherd king embraced him in great happiness and worshipped him as none different from Lord Vasudeva. Commentary. Then Uddhav approached the home of Nanda, which was filled with misery due to separation from Krishna. Uddhav looked just like Nanda's son Krishna and gave pleasure to anyone who saw him. Thus, though Nanda was stunned due to separation from Krishna, when he saw Uddhav, he became aware of external events and eagerly went out to embrace his exalted visitor. Vasudeva Dhiya means that Nanda Maharaj thought, my worshipable deity, Narayan, has come here in the form of this guest. Thus Nanda worshipped Uddhav with foot wash and other items. Bhojitam paramanena samvishtam kashipo sukam gatta shramam paryaprichat padasam vahanadibhi. After Uddhava had eaten first-class food, been seated comfortably on a bed, and and had been relieved of his fatigue by a foot massage and other means, Nanda inquired from him as follows. This is a mistranslation, I think. I don't know. Maybe it could be a proper translation, but paramanna means sweet rice. It means kheer. It could also mean param anna, like the literal meaning is topmost food grains, but that's also the name of kheer. So commentary, and that's sort of explained it also, right? Let's see, commentary. Nanda fed Uddhav sweet rice. See, there it says it. Paramanina. So I think they just mistranslate, yeah. So Paramananena. From the day that Krishna departed from Mathura, all the homes of the Vrajvasis were left unswept and dirty, filled with leaves, grass, dust, and spider webs. The Vrajvasis were kept alive only by the milk, yogurt, and buttermilk brought by people from neighboring villages. They simply lamented, "Alas, alas, we have died." But on this day, one particular Brahman in Nanda's entourage understood that the king of Vraj was thinking, when Uddhav comes to my house today, he should not suffer from hunger. Thus, that Brahman took some chipped rice and cooked just enough sweet rice to feed one person. Massaging Uddhav's feet was performed by a servant, since Uddhav was Nanda Maharaj's nephew and therefore an inferior. See, just like my Gurudev explained it. Kachid anga mahabhaga sakhana shuranandana aste kushalyapatyar yukto mukta suhrid vrata. Nanda Maharaj said, one second, let me just check everything's running okay. Hari Bol Pajurma Prabhu Mantramurti Mataji and Sudevi Didi. Okay, so Nanda Maharaj said, My dear most fortunate one, does the son of Shura fare well, now that he is free and has rejoined his children and other relatives? Commentary. Fearing that if he asked about Krishna, his throat would choke up and tears would come to his eyes, Nanda first asked about the welfare of Vasudev. Vasudev was now freed from Kamsa's prison and all sorts of dangers. Dishtya Kamso hata papa sanuga swena papamana sadhunam dharmashilanam yadunam deshtiya sada. Fortunately, because of his own sins, the sinful Kamsa has been killed, along with all his brothers. He always hated the saintly and righteous Yadus. Api smaratina Krishna mataram surida sakin gopan vrajam chatmanatam gavo Vṛndāvanam girim. Does Krishna remember us? Does he remember his mother and friends and well-wishers? Does he remember the cowherds and their village of Vraj, of which he is the master? Does he remember the cows, Vrindavan forest, and Govardhan hill? Commentary. Then with tears in his eyes and a choked voice, Nanda Maharaj inquired about Krishna. Pointing with his forefinger, he said, Just see the unfortunate condition of Krishna's mother. Just see how Vraj, whose very soul and master was Krishna, just see how this Vraj is now deprived of a master and devoid of beauty. Appayasyati Govinda swajanan sakriti ikshitum tarhi drakshyama tarvik vaktram sunasam susmitekshanam. Will Govinda return even once to see his family? If he ever does, we may then glance upon his beautiful face with its beautiful eyes, nose, and smile. Commentary. By saying, will he come? Nanda Maharaj implies, O Uddhav, perhaps you know the intention in Krishna's mind? Uddhav. Yes, I am sure Krishna will come to console you and stay here again permanently. Nanda Maharaj. Forget about Krishna's coming back here to remain permanently. I beg only to see him. Will Govinda not come just once to see his own family members who are suffering in the blazing fire of separation and about to die either today or tomorrow? If Govinda does return, then he can receive and enjoy millions of cows, gold coins, pearls, diamonds, and other jewels, silver and gold plates, varieties of garments, ornaments, sandalwood paste, aguru scent, and kumkum, as well as many other household objects. If we too, his parents, if we too, if his we his parents die, then who else will have a right to all these things? So Krishna should come and take. Them. Certainly, a person should reside where the things he desires are found. Uddhav. Why are you talking like this? You should know that Govinda is about to come. Intolerant of the delay, Nanda Maharaj said, when will I be able to see Krishna's face, which surpasses the beauty of a million moons, and his incomparable nose, nectar-sweet smile, and his long lotus-petaled eyes? Now that our lives are about to end, may we see Krishna just once and then die. Thus Nanda Maharaj expressed his extreme anxiety. Tavagner vatavarshacha vrishya sarpachcha rakshita Duratyayebhyo mrityubhya Krishnena sumahatmana. We were saved from the forest fire, the wind and rain, the bull and serpent demons, from all such insurmountable deadly dangers, by that very great soul, Krishna. Commentary. Uddhav said, but you will not die. You will live a long time, raising your son with affection. Nanda Maharaj replied, unlike before, we will not be saved from the hands of death. In saying this, Nanda recounted the previous threats of death. Krishna saved us from the forest fire and from Indra's torrential rains because of his natural affection for us. But why is he not saving us now from the terrible fire of separation? I cannot understand this. Smaratam Krishna Viryani Leela Panga Nirikshitam Hasitam Bhashitam Changa Sarvanas Shitila Kriya. As we remember the wonderful deeds Krishna performed, his playful sidelong glances, his smiles, and his words, O Uddhav, we forget all our material engagements. Uddhav said, remembering Krishna's moon-like face produces an intoxicating nectar that removes all kinds of distress. Nanda Maharaj replied, that is true, but even though recollection of Krishna removes all suffering, now because of our ill fortune, that remembrance creates more suffering. Whenever we remember Krishna, we lose all interest in material activities. Only by the force of habits do we continue to bathe, eat, drink, and perform other daily activities. In such a state, we cannot remain alive. Sarich-chaila vanodeshan mukunda padabhushitan akridan ikshamanam manoyati taratman atmatam. When we see the places where Mukunda enjoyed his sporting pastimes, the rivers, hills, and forests, he decorated with his feet, our minds become totally absorbed in him. Commentary. So this is Uddhava speaking, right? If this is the case, I can understand that by staying in the house, you are remembering Krishna too much. Therefore, to give up dwelling on him, you should go outside and wander along the shore of the Yamuna, tending your cows. Anticipating such a suggestion, Nanda Maharaj explains here how even this would be unfavorable. On seeing the rivers, forests, and other places where Krishna performed pastimes, our mind becomes absorbed in Krishna. Thus we remember Krishna more, and the pain of separation increases. 23. Krishnam charamam cha prapta viha surottamo suranam mahararthaya gargasya vachanam yata. In my opinion, Krishna and Balaram must be two exalted demigods who have come to this planet to fulfill some great mission of the demigods, such by Garga Rishi. Commentary. By sudden recollection of Krishna as the Lord, in contrast to his natural mood of affection and separation, Nanda speaks with a sense of discrimination in this verse. It was due to the good fortune of me and Vasudeva that they became our sons and appeared in my house. Krishna and Balaram have come to benefit the demigods by killing Kamsa and other demons. This is according to the prophetic words of Garga Rishi. 24. Kamsam naga pranam mallo gaja patim yata avadishtan lilayaiva pashun eva mrigadhipa. After all, Krishna and Balaram killed Kamsa, who was as strong as 10,000 elephants, as well as the wrestlers Chanura and Mushtika, and the elephant Kuvalayapid. They killed them all sportingly, as easily as a lion disposes of small animals. Talatraya mahasaram dhanuryashtim ive bharat bhabanjaikena hastena saptaham adadhargirim. With the ease of a royal elephant breaking a stick, Krishna broke a powerful giant bow 3 talas long. He also held a mountain aloft for 7 days with just one hand. Commentary. Nanda Maharaj said, Krishna broke a bow 3 talas long, and with one hand, just his left hand, Krishna held up Govardhan hill for 7 days. A tala, a palm tree, is a measurement of 90 feet. Thus, the great bow Krishna broke was 270 feet long. Whoa! Dhenuko rishtas trenavarto pakadaya daitya sura sura jito hatayene halilaya. Here in Vṛndāvana, Krishna and Balaram easily destroyed demons like Pralamba, Dhenuka, Arishta, Trinavarta, and Baka, who had themselves defeated both demigods and other demons. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti samsmritya Nanda Krishna Nuraktadhi Atyutkanto Bhavatushnem Prema Prasaravivala. Shukadeva Goswami said, thus intensely remembering Krishna again and again, Nanda Maharaj, his mind completely attached to the Lord, extreme anxiety and fell silent, overcome by the strength of his love. Commentary. Becoming completely attached to Krishna by remembering the Lord's majesty, the Lord's Aishwarya, Nanda Maharaj thought, oh, by misfortune, I have been separated from my son, who is the ocean of powerful qualities. Nanda's attachment to Krishna was such that even in appreciating Krishna's great powers as the Lord, his personal relationship with Krishna did not weaken as it did with Vasudeva. Nanda's mind remained attached to Krishna with undiminished firmness. With his mind attracted to Krishna in this way, Nanda Maharaj became overcome by the sway of paternal affection. In the presence of the supreme prema of Nanda, who, like Agastya, swallowed the whole ocean, what is the significance of a whole ocean of opulences, of Aishwarya? Yashoda Varnyamanani putrasya charitani cha shrinvantyashrinyavakshid snehasnuta payodhara. As Mother Yashoda heard the descriptions of her son's activities, she poured out her tears, and milk flowed from her breasts out of love. Commentary. Krishnanda Maharaj, having thus controlled himself by the strength of his gravity, was now able to honor Uddhava properly as a guest, to look at him directly, to recognize him, inquire about his well-being, and to speak about Krishna's godly qualities. Krishna's mother Yashoda, however, who was drowning in the whirlpools of the ocean of unsteadiness, could not offer any hospitality to Uddhava. This is expressed in this verse. From the very day that Krishna had left for Mathura, tears fell continuously from Yashoda's eyes, and milk dripped from her breasts. Even though she was being counseled by hundreds of women and men, Yashoda would just say, "I don't want to see anything except the face of my son." At every moment, Yashoda kept her eyes closed and cried constantly, drenching her clothing. Thus she could not recognize Uddhava, treat him with parental affection, ask him any questions, or give him any message for her son. She couldn't even give any message for her son. Her breasts flowed profusely with milk out of affection for her son. Payodhara also means cloud. Yashoda was like a cloud, showering the rain of tears and milk. Tayodam Bhagavati Krishne Nanda Yashodaya Vikshanuragam Paramam Nanda Mahodavo Muda. Uddhava then joyfully addressed Nanda Maharaj, having clearly seen the supreme loving attraction he and Yashoda felt for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Commentary. Although Uddhava was already familiar with high levels of prema, now he clearly observed Nanda and Yashoda's intense loving attraction for Krishna. Seeing that both in quantity and quality, their love was superior to that of Vasudeva and Devaki, Uddhava became filled with bliss and thought, "Now my life has become successful, having seen such love." Thus Uddhava was joyful even at seeing their anguish, which was actually another form of loving ecstasy. Shri Uddhava Vacha Yuvam Shlagyatamo Nunam Dehinam Ihamanada Narayane Kila Guru Yatkrita Matiridrishi. Shri Uddhava said, "O respectful Nanda, certainly you and Mother Yashoda are the most praiseworthy persons in the entire world, since you have developed such a loving attitude toward Lord Narayan, the spiritual master of all living beings." Commentary. Uddhava said, "Among all praiseworthy devotees in this world, Vasudeva and Devaki are especially so, but you two are most praiseworthy because of the superiority of your prema." Nanda already said in verse 23 that he knew that Krishna and Balaram were gods. Knowing that Nanda appreciated Krishna's lordly aspect, Uddhava describes Krishna in this verse as Narayan, the guru of everyone. He does this to emphasize Krishna's power and to sympathize with Nanda and Yashoda's sentiments. Eto hi Vishvasacha. Sorry. Okay. See what verse was I gonna? Okay, verse. Ito hi Vishvasya cha bijayoni Ramo Mukunda Purusha Pradhanam Anviya Bhuteshu Vilakshanash Vilakshanasya Jnanasya Cheshata Imo Purano. These two lords, Mukunda and Balaram, are each the seed and womb of the universe, the creator and his creative potency. They enter the hearts of living beings and control their conditioned awareness. They are the primeval supreme. Commentary. In this verse, Uddhava describes how Krishna and Balaram are Narayan and the spiritual masters of everyone. As the Lord, the Ankshi and his expansions, Anksha, are non-different, Krishna and Balaram, though appearing as two entities, are actually one. This is confirmed by Ṭhākura, who said, Bahu Murteka Murtikam. Krishna, though of one form, appears as many. That's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10.47. Uddhava said, both of them are the seed and the womb of the universe. Both of them assume the forms of the immediate. Both of them assume the forms of the immediate and ingredient cause, and both are the Purusha and the Pradhan, since the potency and the potent are essentially one. This is as stated in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11.24.19. Prakritir yasyapadanam adhara purusha para sato bhivyanjaka kalo brahma tattritayam tvaham. The material universe may be considered real, having nature as its original ingredient and final state. Lord Mahavishnu is the resting place of nature, which becomes manifest by the power of time. Thus nature, the Almighty Vishnu and time are not different from me, the supreme absolute truth. Uddhava said, entering as the indwelling supersoul within all beings, they control the living entity whose knowledge is separate. They mercifully grant knowledge of the personality of Godhead, of Bhagavan, to the devotees, and knowledge of Brahman to the Gyanis. This point is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam tadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 8.24.38, Madhyanam Mahimanam Cha Param Brahmeti Shabditam Vetsayat Svanugram Me Samprashnar Vivritam Hridi. Anyways, you will be thoroughly advised and favored by me, and because of your inquiries, everything about my glories, which are known as Param Brahma, will be manifest within your heart. Thus you will know everything about me. The word cha implies that Krishna also gives mundane knowledge of how to attain heaven, Swargaloka, and other material destinations to the karmis. All right, it is 8:30, so I will end here. But let's just see. Anyone, even a person of an impure, whatever. I'll just stop here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Right, so tomorrow we will complete this chapter. Um, we'll read the rest of what Uddhava says to Nanda Maharaj, his attempt at pacifying, which isn't successful. And then we will begin Brahmar Gita also, I think. Or maybe not Brahmar Gita, but the things leading up to Brahmar Gita. I don't know. I have to look. But all right. Jai. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, Hari Didi Dandavats. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudev ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gorkishoras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai. Nityal Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupa Anugagoriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Dashagunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Shila Haridas Ṭhākura ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gora Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Shri Nanda Baba ki Jai. Shri Yashoda Maya ki Jai. Sarva Vrajavasi Gana ki Jai. Shri Uddhava ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Srila Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura ki Jai. Sārārtha-darśinī Vritti ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Right, see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Thank you for joining me. Haribol. Haribol, Dira Mataji.